What's up guys, the kid's good here, and today I'm going to teach you how to win Tilted Towers as well as get a high kill win. If you want to shout out my next video, go ahead and leave a comment down below on what you need improvement on in Fortnite. For everyone that's new here, go ahead and smash that subscribe button as it supports the channel tremendously. And click the bell to turn the notifications on because I make Fortnite improvement videos weekly. Also, be on the lookout this weekend when Black Ops 4 beta comes out. I'm going to be streaming it live for you guys. So let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so jumping right into it, we are headed into Tilted Towers to my favorite building that I land at 90% of the time. And the reason I love this building so much is because there's a chest spawn as well as gun spawns right on the roof. It's important to note that I almost 95% of the time I'm going to go for the guns before I go for the chest. Reason being is if somebody else lands on that roof with you, you're going to want to have a gun because it takes too much time to open up the chest and you can kill them before they even have a chance to open that chest. And then after we roll out of this building, I've already got everything out of the building I possibly could. I typically go to this building here. Reason being is there's about 2 chest spawns that normally come here, and not a lot of people come here as their first jump. So I can usually rotate into this building, get a couple of chests, and move on to the next plan of attack. Now my next place I move to is all going to be based off audio cues. While I'm rolling through these buildings and gathering loot, I'm always listening to try and figure out where people are at, where people are fighting, where people have just died. So in this particular situation, I've waited until I had 100, so 100 shield, 100 health, and some decent guns before I start going out to third-party other fights. So I hear them fighting in the middle of Tilted. This fight just ended, and I'm going to get down there before this guy has time to med, and luckily I do. Now, my shot was pretty terrible in this particular fight. I'm really surprised he didn't kill me. I actually ran out of bullets for my P90 and had to switch to the Tommy gun, but luckily I was able to take him out. And so that's why it's so important to keep on your audio cues to figure out where people are, because here again, I hear somebody that is walking through the building that I originally landed at. So as soon as I finish looting this back up and get as much back of my health as I can, I'm going to rotate to him as quickly as possible. And that's my strategy for winning Tilted Towers is once you get the guns and the meds you need, you start smart playing and you start rotating into other people. You don't want to start rotating into people too quickly before you're ready because you're going to get taken out a lot quicker than you would like to, and it's going to stop you from being able to clean up the whole loot, which is the goal of why we try to win Tilted, is because then we pretty much don't have to loot for the rest of the game. We're pretty much just going after kills, and that is why winning Tilted is so much fun, because when you win Tilted, you're not looting. You can typically have high kill games because you're not focused on materials, you're not focused on guns, you're not focused on a lot of that other smaller stuff. So as you noticed, I was right. I rotated back into this building where I found that guy. I was able to take his guns and meds, and I hear somebody outside on the ground level of this building, so I want to take the high ground and try to figure out where he is and take him out and take all of his guns as well. So I don't want to jump down on him too quickly because I don't know exactly where he's at, and I don't want to give him the height advantage. So until I know about where he's at, I'm going to stay right where I am. And I don't mind being on this roof. As you can see, you're probably thinking, like, why is he just walking along the roof of this? You're going to get sniped. I actually almost do get sniped. It ends up almost being really bad for me, but now that I know where this guy is at, I can kind of make a smart, effective play. There goes that snipe from the guy who tried to take me out of the game. Now, I get really aggressive here on the guy where I know where he is, and the reason I do this is because the other guy on the other side of Tilted is probably just me, him, and this guy here, so I don't want to get pinched. I don't want to wait too long to push this guy where I'm getting into a fight and we get third-partied, so I get aggressive. I hear him on top of this metal structure. I know exactly where that's at. That's why it's so important to be on your audio cues at all times. I'm able to walk in, clean up his loot, and move on to the next target, which is the guy who just sniped at me. So as soon as I get these meds and as soon as I get reloaded, I'm going to start getting aggressive and start pushing towards him next. So I start building up onto the guy around where I thought he was at. Now, I don't know if this was the guy. I don't think it is because after I killed him, he didn't have a sniper, so I don't know where that guy went. This guy was a complete bot. You know, unfortunately for him, I took him out pretty easily. He didn't even know where I was before I killed him. But there again, so I'm going to go ahead and get meted, and then I hear somebody in I think it's called Trump Tower is what a lot of people call it. I hear somebody out there, so I'm going to try to take high ground because I don't know how aggressive he's going to play this, and luckily for me, he didn't play too aggressive, although it wouldn't have mattered either way. So I just want to clear this building before I move on to Trump Tower because I didn't see him over there just yet, and before I push over there, I don't want to get blindsided from him coming up from behind me. So I want to clear this building as quickly as possible and then move over to him. So one of the things I want to know is how I go about getting this kill is through audio. So once I start to rotate over to him, I'm listening very closely to where he is, and because I listen to where he is, I'm able to locate him and take him out of the game. So I head over here. I don't go in the front door because I don't want to walk into an ambush. I walk into this corner. When I hear him on the first floor, I go ahead and take the high ground from him. Now, when I take the high ground, he walks outside and I jump down on him. Now, the reason I jumped down, even though I had the height advantage, was because I had left side peek and he didn't know where I was. If I would have had right side advantage, I would have stayed where I was, but because of how Fortnite's camera is, if you're not peeking over the right side, it's a lot harder to see someone on the left, so I actually had to jump down on him. And that pretty much wraps up how I won Tilted. Now, when I leave Tilted, I'm focused on my rotations. I'm looking for the storm to see who's getting pushed out next, and that's when I push up to Loot Lake, where I run into this guy. So when I roll out of Tilted Towers, that's when I see this guy pushing out of Loot Lake and another guy behind him who's coming out of the storm. So I decide to get aggressive, kill the guy who's in front of me, and then focus the guy who's pretty weak from coming out of the storm. I'm able to take both of them out because I was focused on my rotations, I was focused on the people who were coming out of the storm, and I was able to take them out. Now, my thought process when I'm going for these high kill games is I'm always thinking of rotations. I'm trying to predict where people are, and I'm trying to rotate there as quickly as possible, and that is the nice thing about winning Tilted Towers, is I have all the loot and the materials that I possibly need, so I can get aggressive and get to people very quickly. I don't have to focus on getting chests, I don't have to focus on chopping down trees, I can solely focus on getting to the next person. So my next thought is I want to clear the area that's behind me, which I do, and then I want to take the high ground, take this mountain for a couple of reasons. The two reasons I take this mountain are, for one, obviously you have a lot more visibility when you're on a mountain. Two, a lot of people like to try to take mountains, and so if I'm up here, I become a target for people to try to come up and take this from me, so ultimately that can grant me more kills. Now, nobody comes up here, so I start to look in where I know people aren't already, so I clear this area and then I switch back to the other side. When I see a couple of people getting into a fight, I don't have a sniper, but luckily I have my Scar and my aim's pretty decent, so I'm able to pick this guy off from a tremendous distance. Now, I know he was fighting somebody else. I don't want to jump pad towards him. I don't want to get down and aggressive. I want to try to pick away at him like I did with this guy with my Scar. So I'm being patient for this guy to go out and clean up the loot from the kill that I just got. And when he starts to push out, I actually am able to take him out of the game the same way I just took out the guy he was fighting. So it was a pretty lucky play by me, and it had a lot to do with the aim. Also, if you guys want me to make a video where I talk about how to improve your aim, let me know down in the comments. I will be more than happy to make a video where I talk about my settings and how I go about increasing my aim to take people out of the game a lot quicker. Now, my thought process as to how do I get to the next circle is I could have gone in between this mountain and Dusty, but I decided to go on the salty side of things, and the reason being is I don't like to be right on top of Dusty, because if you do that, people can come out of Dusty and they can blindside you pretty quickly. So I go through salty when I run into this guy, and I'm trying to take him out like I took out the last couple guys. Unfortunately, I only landed a couple of shots, but they are for white damage, and if you notice, I took him down to about 50 health because I hit him for about 50 white damage, and that's, again, when I want to get aggressive. I don't want to give him the time to med. For some reason, he doesn't build or try to med up or anything like that. He just tries to snipe me, which ultimately fails for him because I'm able to hit him for the other 50 health he had left, and then I can rotate on to the next part. So after I clean up his loot there, again, I'm looking for natural high ground, which is this in front of me on the south side. So I want to go up here, take the natural high ground, and look for my next target. As I take this natural high ground, I see a guy who's rotating in more, and I take a couple of shots at him, and I almost kill him when somebody comes up for the third party. Now, I don't want to focus the guy I was just shooting at. I want to focus the guy who came up for the third party because I want to force him into a box. I don't want to let him try and kill the guy I'm trying to kill. Unfortunately, he does, and he gets away. So after he takes my kill, he throws down a jump pad and then just soars away. Now, I could have looked for where he was at and tried to jump pad after him and get really aggressive. I really wanted his gold Scar, and I didn't really want to go right up behind him because when you chase somebody on a jump pad like that, they land first, so they have a huge advantage because they can start building by the time that you land. So after I land, I start rotating more into the circle when I run into that guy finally, and I got really, really lucky because of how this played out. I start to build on him, and I stopped. He ended up building over me, and then it forced me into a turtle position. He pulls out an RPG and actually shoots me down. He now has the high height advantage, so I just go for the Hail Mary. I pull out the P90, I shoot him down, I bring him down to my level, and we get into a gunfight that I ultimately end up winning. So after I win this fight, my top priority is obviously to heal. I'm checking the circle, I'm checking the amount of people left. So I know that there are, 2 other people left, and I need to get my meds up before I get into an engagement. Now, one guy actually starts to find me, and he starts shooting RPGs at me, and I'm forced to go inside. I try to build walls so that I can have some more time to med, and lucky enough for me, as I go in here to start to med, he starts getting third-partied by the last guy. So I actually have a little bit of time to med. It's important to note that I didn't just rush out there. I actually went inside and got my my health first before I went out there to try and kill him. So back to the audio cues. As I'm medding, I hear those 2 people get into an engagement. My top priority is as soon as this health kit finishes, I'm running straight out there to try and third party and finish up the rest of the kills. So I run outside, I see them getting into the engagement, I'm listening, I hear shotguns over by this tree, and the second to last guy takes him out. I see him behind the tree, and I don't build because I don't want to give away my position, so I just start firing. I know I have enough rounds to take out the tree. He jumps out from behind the tree, and I'm able to take him out of the game, securing the 12-kill win that I won Tilted Towers with. So guys, those are my tips for winning Tilted Towers and getting a high kill win. I want to go for 20 likes on this video, so if we can do that, that would be awesome. A huge thank you to all of you guys. My channel's only been up for about a month, and we're already at about 135 subscribers, which is almost halfway to our goal of 250, so thank you so much for that, guys. I hope this video can help you guys win more games at Tilted Towers that result in high kill wins.